In der Heimen basimches in Wiener.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. Today we'll discuss a halacha on this week's Parshah, Parshas Shmos. Last year on this Parshah we spoke about the concept of Moshe delaying the bris milah of his son, and what was he thinking, if he was a shliach l'dvar mitzvah, etc., etc., and why at this point in time, as he's with the family, vayhi b'derech, vayifgesheu Hashem vayuvakesh hamisoi, and Nachman al-Atzlan, he realized that there is a punishment happening for something he did wrong, and the pasuk says, "Vatikach Tzipora tzur." So Tzipora, his wife, took a rock, sharp rock, vatichreis es arlas bana, and cut the arla of the son to perform the mitzvah of bris milah. Vatomer ki chasam damim atali, and when she realized that, as the sign was by the Nachash, she realized that the punishment is moving itself away, so she said, when she threw the arla on the ground, l'raglov, she said, this was something that Rahman al-Atzlan was going to cause damim, blood, Rahman al-Atzlan, if it wasn't taken care of. So Tzipora does the bris milah, and she does the bris milah with the tzur, with the rock. Again, last year we spoke about why was Moshe delaying it, and what was the conversation. The Rashi says the cheshbonos that Moshe Rabbeinu had. But today I would like to discuss two other nekudas about this bris milah, and that is that it's not typical, but we find that the Torah says over here that Tzipora did it, and how she performed the bris milah was with tzur, with a rock. And we all know that today it's done with a knife, a izemel shomila. What is the halacha perspective of these 2 points? So first of all, if a woman is allowed to perform a bris milah, as I will soon quote from Shulchan Aruch, is a machlekes hapaiskim, and it all bases on the Gemara in Avodah Zarah, where the Gemara discusses this story of Tzipora, that we find that Tzipora did it. Did Tzipora actually perform the whole bris milah, or did she start it and Moshe Rabbeinu actually finished off the bris? That will depend, as you will look into Rabbeinu B'chaya. Rabbeinu B'chaya asks a question, Yesh litmaya, kikivan shahaya Moshe b'malain, if Moshe Rabbeinu was there together with Tzipora, lama amar vatikach Tzipora tzar. Why was it that the Torah says that Tzipora took matters into her hand and she performed the bris? Why wouldn't Moshe do it? Especially when he got the message, when he sees that vayivakesh hamisoi, so he knew that this is the time to do it. So Rabbeinu Chananel says, Rabbeinu B'chaya, Rabbeinu Chananel says Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't there anymore. Ki Moshe lo haya sham b'malain. Moshe at this point was not in the hotel. As the pasuk says, "Vayarkivay malachamar," he set his family up on set them up on the journey, placed them in the donkeys, gave them everything they needed, and he sent them off. Not necessarily Moshe was even here. So because Moshe was not there, Tzipora performed the bris. However, as the Rabbeinu B'chaya himself says, you look in Rashi and Parshas Shmos is mashma that Moshe was here too. But there is this shitta, that is why Tzipora did it. Others, and again this is the discussion in the Gemara, others say that Tzipora did not do the whole thing, she started it, but she did not complete it, which even this answer is a shaila, because legabe shchita, for example, you also need a qualified person to be able to do the bris, and if a non-qualifying person by shchita, you need a qualified person to do the shchita. If a non-qualifying person started the shchita, and then a proper shaychet finishes it off, it's still not good. So why would milah be any different? So it basically boils down to, is a woman a bar chiyuva, halachically lepoil, based on the discussion in the Gemara in Avodah Zarah, could she perform the bris milah? And if you want to be medayik in the pasuk, the Mefarshim say that it doesn't use the word anywhere in the pasuk vatamol, that she performed the bris. It says vatichreis, she cut, because this is Masama, the Raya, the Gemara will lean on, that she began the bris, she began cutting, but the actual bris milah was completed by Moshe. Again, if Moshe Rabbeinu was b'molim. Why? What is the logic that she is able to perform the bris milah? So one of the Mefarshim say, based on the Rambam, that b'nei Keturah are mechuyev b'milah, b'nei Keturah, even not Yidden, are mechuyev the mitzvah of milah, and they have this additional point, that whatever exceptions to the rule that apply by Yidden does not apply by Goyim. So whereas by Yidden, where we are mechuyev b'mitzvah milah, yet it only, according to some shittis, only mechuyev, the man is mechuyev, the father is mechuyev, the child is mechuyev, but the woman is, according to some shittis, has no chiyuv. Whereas by b'nei Keturah, etc., those who the Rambam says amongst the Goyish nations that are mechuyev, the mitzvah milah, over there, legabe them, the chiyuv will apply for male or female alike. Either one of them could perform the mitzvah, and therefore Tzipora, who was a midyanis, was able, or a mechuyeves, to perform this mitzvah, and this is what the Tzafnas Menayach says, based on the Shitta of the Rambam. So now what does the Shulchan Aruch say about this? About the halacha of the women performing a bris. Who is the right person to make a bris milah? So in Yeridea Siman Reish Samach Daled, it says, Hakol Ksherim Lamu. Everybody, you don't have to be a special person to perform a bris milah. Me'ikar adin, anybody could do it. Listen to this. Afilu eved, even if it's a slave. Isha, katan, a woman, or a young child, or somebody, Rahman al-Itzlan, who he himself is not gemalit for a reason of sakana. Even any one of those could perform and fulfill the mitzvah of bris on somebody else, as a moyel. V'im yesh Yisrael gadol sheyodei lamo. If there is a mature, older Yisrael who doesn't have any of these loopholes, the above mentioned ones that typically we try not to use as a bar chiyuva. So as the halacha is, who koydem lekulam? He comes first. And you know what the Rebbe brings from the Tzemach Tzedek? That when you have a choice of two moyelim, somebody who is a very super frum and Yerushalayim, but he's not an umam b'melachtoi, he's not an expert in doing the job, and then you have somebody who maybe is not the same level of Yerushalayim, but he's an expert in what he does. The Tzemach Tzedek says, take the umam b'melachtoi, take the expert. Concerning this, you need somebody who knows what he's doing. But as long as he's a Yerushalayim, a gadol comes before a isha, a gadol comes before a katan. But a isha could do the mitzvah. Comes the Ramah, v'yesh, and there are those that say the isha loy samol. Based on this machlekes in the Gemara, there are those that say a woman is not a bar chiyuva for this milah, for this mitzvah of milah, so she cannot perform the mitzvah on others. V'chein noyagim lahader achar ish, and it's proper, it's customary to find a man to perform the bris and not a woman. Okay, that's option number one, or best scenario. Chein noyagim lahader achar ish. That's the addition of a man over a woman, father over a mother. But the father himself, before he opts out to ask somebody else to do it, it's brought clearly in the Pischei Tshuva that he says that it is best that a person to do the bris milah himself. The father should do it himself, because the chiyuv is on him. And he should perform the mitzvah. By giving it away, it sort of cheapens that he's not interested in performing the mitzvah. So if he's able, he should perform the mitzvah himself. Now this is why, one of the reasons it's brought in the Sfarim, that a moyel, if you find a shliach who's doing it on your behalf, on the father's behalf, he has no chiyuv. If he does it on your behalf, he has right to take money. Why? Because after all, performing a mitzvah if it's all about the money, it's not a real mitzvah. You're not doing it with the heart and soul, l'shem shamayim. Why is he able to charge money? So one of the reasons which is given is farkert. So you the moil should really be considered a shliach, a mai, on the parent and the father's behalf. The father pays the moil to do it, so it's because I am not an expert, because I don't know what I am doing that well in this field, so I pay, and the paying makes him a proper shliach. Because as you see in the Sifrei Achronim, there's questions. There's different communities that they had a lot of moilim, so it didn't really take too much time away from their business, so they didn't charge. But today's days, where a moil travels a lot and it occupies a lot of time of his day, and this is basically what he does most of the time, most of the days. So for Parnasa, you're allowed to help. That's what the Sifrei Achronim say. Now, as we mentioned before, that a woman could, but a man is better, and the best would be the father himself. There's also in what utensil you use to perform the milah. Tzipora used a tzor, a rock. Reish samach dalet tzif beis. Bakoil mullen. You're allowed to use anything that cuts. Anything that could cut, you're allowed to use to perform the bris milah. Vafila b'tzor, even if you're using a rock, zechuchis, a glass, uvechol davar hakoires. Anything else, anything that will do the job. Unless there's something which leaves splinters, because it's dangerous, Rahman al-Atzalan, it can make the child a krus shifcha. But, even though the me'ikar adin, you could use any sort of utensil, mitzvah min amufchar lomol bebarzel, it's best to use metal, a knife, bein besakim, bein b'misparayim, either a knife or a scissors, but nagu lomol besakim. It is customary to use a knife. So in other words, Tzipora, that she performed it, she used a rock, it's fine, based on the halachas. But there is a mitzvah and a muvchar. A man should do it, and the mitzvah and a muvchar, you should use metal. It's brought in Svarim that originally they taka used rocks or any sharp item to perform the bris. But eventually it switched over, and now we all use metal knives, a yizemel shomila. Why? So it says that when David went to fight Goliath, so Goliath was wrapped around with armor made out of metal, shields. David came with a couple of stones. Stones, you throw at a metal, they'll just bounce off. So it says in the Medrash, it says in Svarim, that at that point, the metal said to the stone, the koyach, the metal said to the stone, listen, usually I overpower you, and you just bounce off me. But because you're here to do something l'shem shemayim, I'm going to allow you, the Evan, to bash through the shield and the armor that the Goliath is wearing. And as a schar for that I am allowing myself to be crashed at this situation, it's switched. Whereas the mitzvah of milah was done by stone, from now on, the mitzvah of milah should be done by metal, and that is how we fulfill the mitzvah till today. Yeshakayach, and please join us again next week.